Hello, everybody. Welcome to SOS with Sonja Rasula. I am, of course, your host, Sonja Rasula. Today's guest is Trisha Huffman, whose company is called Joyologist. She's a speaker, a writer, and a life coach. And she has an affirmation-based product line with the mission to inspire and empower people. However, she's at a crossroads because she's not sure what products to move forward with. And a big problem is that yourjoyologist.com, her website, isn't actually about products. It's about her and her coaching work, which is pretty confusing. Listen and watch as I analyze her two websites and we dig deep to self-reflect on the motivation behind the products that she should make and move forward with. Let's dive in.
Hi, I'm Trisha Huffman. My brand name is Your Joyologist. And I like to say that it's not just a product line, but a mission to inspire you to claim your joy, your worth, your value, your feelings of enoughness for yourself, and to own who you are.
I'm curious, when did you start?
So my brand was built as Your Joyologist for a couple years before I launched my first product. And that was, I ran a Kickstarter in the summer of 2014.
Okay.
For my Own Your Awesome affirmation deck.
Okay, cool. So you've been selling products for over 5 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like a long time, but also like, wow, it's been 5 years, almost 6.
I know. Being a business owner is interesting because you're like, time flies by, and then it's also like, stand still. First of all, I love what you do, and I love your mission. And I think it's really important for more and more people to realize, not just like embrace who they are and choose joy over like anxiety or fear or all of those things that people could easily look to. But I think what you're doing both in your work and your product line, because they are two very different things, I think it's really important. And so hopefully I'm going to be able to help you reach more people by the end of this call.
Thank you. I hope so too. Because it all came from me like realizing we're always looking outside of ourselves for the answers, for joy, for this, if I get this job, whatever. And it's like, we can't find it outside of ourselves. If we keep looking outside, once I have this, do this, be this, then I'll feel. Once I get out of my house, then everything will be okay. We're still going to have struggles. And so like, that's the point, is always bring it back to you.
Absolutely. So let's bring it back to you.
To me.
We've looked at everything that you do. We've analyzed your website. I've looked at your social media. Your original question was about needing help with your product line. And so I'm really excited to be able to help you with that. I do think that there's a larger conversation here because as a consumer, when I went onto your website and your social media, it's very confusing because of the two different businesses that you have, right? You consult, you educate, and then you actually sell products. And those are two very different things. And I don't think that the way that you're communicating on your website, I don't think it makes it easy for a consumer. Number one. Number two, it almost seems like the shop is hidden. And if you're hoping to make your income rise because of the product line, then we're definitely going to have to address that. So I don't know, like currently, how do you make your money? Is there like an even split between your consulting work and your product line?
Well, and it depends. And it's gone, it's changed throughout the years. When I, like I said, I first was doing like touring with artists and coaching people. And then I decided products, and I got pregnant with my first kid. And I was like, that's it. I'm just doing pregnant. And every unique that I did, I was either pregnant or even one time had my breastfeeding a baby with me. And I was like, I'm only going to do products. And then as the kids got older and I realized I missed talking to people and working with people. And now I'm writing my first book even, and I have a podcast now, and I have a YouTube series.
Yep.
So it sort of has evolved over the years, where like there had been years where I'm like products, and learning about trade shows and wholesale. And then the last couple years, it's kind of been an afterthought. One reason is because I love products, but also, you know, that my biggest struggle has been sort of, products are great to have as a mom and be stay at home, and I can answer emails and ship orders in my own time. I can hire people to ship the orders and do things for me easily. But choosing what to invest in, because you have to pay for products up front and then hope that they sell well. So that has been going back and forth. Honestly, right now with the COVID times, I've been making most of my income on products because I have limited time because I have 2 toddlers home. And also I'm putting my most brain time on writing my first book. So it's like amazing that I have products to offer. And so I have been sort of leaning more on pushing those right now.
Yeah.
My website up to last year was actually just, well, so it went back and forth too. My website was my coaching business. And then I started a Shopify site when I started the shop.
Yeah.
Shop.yourjoyologist.com. And then I went a year where it was the entire site was my shop. Like yourjoyologist.com went there. And so then this past year,
got it,
to be an author, my literary agent needed to see me doing all these different things. But yeah, it is sort of a small thing. But then the shop, and then it goes to the Shopify site, which is its own thing.
Okay, that makes so much sense to me and everyone right now in the room, getting that background. So here's my question then. Does the publisher need you, like, are they standing firm in that yourjoyologist.com needs to be you?
Well, so that's the thing. So I am currently working with a literary agent about to send the proposal out to publishers. So she wants me to look like, well, who is Trisha Huffman that has a book? So we need to go to yourjoyologist.com and see all of the things that she does, not just products. When my website was just going to the products, she was like, I'm not interested in representing you.
Okay, lady, got it. This is interesting. So, okay, I'm not going to give a shit about your literary agent and give you a bunch of feedback, and
go for it.
I think I'm keeping her in mind, though. I am keeping her in mind. So here's the thing. It's very confusing right now. Like when we first got, all the submissions, so many people applied to be on the second season of SOS. We were going through, and instantly Daniel was like, oh my God, I love your Joyologist. And like, we went to the website, and both of us though were like, what is going on here? It's like, it's a lot of different things, which makes it hard for the consumer to understand what it is that you do. And the thing is, I talked about this last season, you only have, you have less than 2 seconds to make your impression. So people are going to click on a link somehow that they found, or they're going to type in yourjoyologist.com, and they're only giving you 2 seconds before they click away. So if products are what's floating your income and helping you make a living right now, and potentially in the future, especially as a mom of 2 young kids, like, I see products being where you should go, but you have to have that be the number one thing people see then when they go to your website. Keeping in mind that you're trying to get a book deal is interesting, but there's no reason why all of those pieces of the puzzle cannot be on that site. So here's what I'm going to suggest. First of all, obviously you want to use your URL. You want everything to be funneling to yourjoyologist.com. What you now need to do is integrate your Shopify website onto that website, because having the 2 looks very strange. So you can see yourself now, right?
Yeah, but look, I even have the shop products right there.
You do, but I would never have, it's so hard. I would never have even noticed those buttons. I get it, but the picture really is just you, and it's telling me about who you are. And then maybe if I stayed, but 2 seconds is really quick, right? Maybe if I stayed and I scrolled, I would see the shop products. depending on how much of your following is using mobile, but like for unique markets, 40%, and it varies between 40 and 50%, are on their phones viewing our website now, which means you have to look at what your website, this homepage looks like on your phone. And I guarantee you it's smaller, it's harder to read, and the shop products may be under the scrolling line. So that's one piece of advice, is like, look at it on different types, tablets, desktops, phones. But I think my biggest thing here, and where I can really give you the most value, is yes, talking about the fact that your website navigation and site architecture are not serving you right now. So what I mean by that, and everyone who's, watching this on YouTube can see what we're talking about. For everyone listening to the podcast, site navigation is obviously, it's the words at the top of the screen that take people to various landing pages. And so usually that's like about us, about me, shop, blog, things of that nature. So you have in your site navigation, the very, very first thing is ask me. But my guess is, and correct me if I'm wrong, my guess is that is like not the most important thing on your website.
Yeah, no, that was a thing that got added last, which is probably why I accidentally just put it first, because it was a part I'm doing now for like podcast of ask me, write in, and I will support you, coach you.
So I like that that's there, and that's a way for people to get advice and get valuable expertise from you, but that should be all the way on the right hand side. And ironically, the shop button is the one that's all the way to the right, even though that is the most important thing currently and in the future, I believe, because it's what actually makes you money.
It's funny. Like, I think that I did it backwards of you, though, that in my mind, I was like, the farthest right is where my eye goes. So I think I put shop there because I thought that it would get the most attention being on the end.
Okay.
So I'm going backwards from you, where I put the shop, my app, my podcast. Yeah. I've been backwards.
Maybe you're dyslexic. Maybe that.
I don't think I am. I guess that's just how my mind works.
So most people, it's proven people read left to right.
I guess that's true.
Right? You read a newspaper, all the thin columns, it's all left to right. So because that's been hammered into our brains, that's how site navigation should go. So in your nav, your most important thing should be the very first thing on the left, and so on.
Got it. Yeah, I totally was in my mind somehow thinking that it being that last thing, that's where the eye would go.
Nope. And I want to get people to that shop page. So that's an easy fix. You now know to basically reverse your nav, which is great. But the problem is when they click shop, what's going to happen is they're going to go off to a different website that's hosted by Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with this, and this is why I'm bringing this up, the problem is that within that website, you then have a whole other navigation. Exactly. So you are just watering down and creating double work for yourself when everything could just be housed on one website. So what I want you to do is get your shop and integrate it onto your joyologist.com. And Shopify makes this easy to do. Like, it's going to take a little bit of work, but not that much. So we need you to do that, because the navigation, the way it looks, your main website looks so much better also visually.
Thank you.
Much more captivating than the basic templated Shopify shop website. So
I didn't know that Shopify allowed you to like that. Yeah,
you should be able to. So, and again, it's probably like you may have to use a third party, or you may have to use like a widget, and it might be something that you might have to purchase. Maybe not.
Yeah, if you scroll down, you can see that I do have widgets from, podcast is first. See, so shop there, right?
Yep.
So I have widgets that are in there. And if you go to a blog page, I have widgets on the side too for some certain podcasts. But yeah, so like, I don't know, like moving the whole, I guess. Yeah. So like moving each product, I guess, to its own page on this site with a widget, I guess, is possible.
Yeah. or what you're doing is building out the Shopify, like you're rebuilding your Shopify site and then just doing a redirect. So when people type in yourjoyologist.com, they're not seeing like the shop dot, like they're not seeing the Shopify URL.
Yeah, well, it is still mine. If you go to shop, it's shop.yourjoyologist.com. It's not. It doesn't show a Shopify site.
Right, but I mean the fact that
it
even
switches.
shop, yeah, it switches, and so it's like, yeah, you're giving yourself, because you're importing all of these products on the homepage, right?
Yeah.
So instead, everything should be integrated, and that's going to save you time in the long run. And in the future, it's really going to save you time, because the whole thing is we're going to start to have you concentrate on products. And so you're eventually going to have more products and put more time and energy into the shop aspect of your website. And so you're going to want to make sure that those are integrated for sure, because right now you're having to manage both. Doesn't make sense. And then the other interesting...
Well, it's just still, even if I have the widgets and everything over there, then the checkout, to have that secure checkout and like all the perks that Shopify offers, they would still end up going over to Shopify to check out and everything.
Okay. So what I'm saying is you should use like the way that yourjoyologist.com looks, right? Like the nav, the way that you've presented it, you should be adding that stuff to your Shopify website.
Oh, got it. So instead of, I chose a nicer template off Shopify, but it would behoove me to totally design the Shopify site to match this and that. Yeah. So the menus are the same. They all the exact same in feel, where I was like, well, I have the same colors and it's somewhat the same, but yes, it's still totally different.
Right. It's like, and it looks like a shop page, which is fine. But so in the future, you're going to start working on this right away. And in the future, when I go to yourjoyologist.com, what you're going to do is you're going to redirect it. So it will push people to the Shopify website. But like I said, visually, it's going to look more like the Your Joyologist. So on the home page, you want it to look like, yes, you want products being, I believe, the first thing that people should see, but it shouldn't look so much like a templated product page where it's like thumbnails of products. Like the way your homepage looks now, where it's like a photo of you and it's a big, what I call like, it's a beauty shot, but the beauty shot should be an amazing, beautiful photo of one of your products. It should definitely be product related. Okay, so now that we know you're going to transfer like the about information, the work with me page, all of that can be on Shopify. Like,
it used to be. Again, I switched it back last year because that is the hard thing. Like, I want my products to grow, but I also am growing myself. Like, I'm putting myself there for public speaking for the book and more. So that's again where there's the struggle with. I needed this. It felt like to have more about, hey, this is what I've done besides products. But I also want the products to have a bigger platform.
Yes. So you know what? It's like, what happened, my guess is that when, you got that outside feedback of like, no, we need to make the website shine a light on you. And we need to establish you as an expert, right? That's probably the thinking. It's like less about products and more about you.
Yeah.
You can do that. And it sounds like you were doing that previously. So you need to do that again, which sounds weird. I'm taking you to what you already did. Your gut instinct was correct and you're right on. Like you still need all of that information, but it needs to still be on the exact same site that also your products are on.
Mm.
And it needs to look cohesive, because it's like it's the fact that they look so different and that there's two. To me, that's just like, A, it's confusing. B, that gets real tricky when you start to think about SEO and Google tracking, because you have two totally separate websites. That's like not going to help you in the long run. So I think that amalgamating them into one website, much better, but you just have to add the you into it. It's less all about product all the time, and you need to also still be establishing yourself as an expert. And obviously you've done that with your navigation that you have. Like you've got the about, you have work with me, blog, podcast, app, all of those elements are there. You just need to put them onto the shop website, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed is that you have worked with some really great people. You have some really, really great clients. I don't know whether, there's like a privacy thing. You don't want to, mention them necessarily, but you do mention one specifically, and it's really hard to find that. So,
If you scroll down, there's a testimonial from him on the homepage.
Hold on. I'm going back to the homepage now. So ways to work with me, it's definitely there. Yeah. And it stands out there because it's in that black block. It's chaos.
Oh, it wasn't, huh? Interesting.
Okay, so it's right.
So yeah, testimonials. There used to be a testimonials blurb on the homepage.
I do love, and this is something that not enough businesses do, you have the logos of recognizable companies, which helps instantly tell people like, oh, okay, people have written about this person. This like helps establish you as an expert, which I think is great. Do
you think that needs to be further up? Yeah, so it used to, it's way down there. Yeah, so if you scroll back to the first one. Yeah, so it's at the very, very, very
So I'm just gonna, that's a lot. So here's my feedback. Yes, anything that helps a stranger who's never heard about you instantly know, oh, this is someone that I should pay attention to, or, oh, I want to buy and support her by buying her products because look, here's some great testimonials. Here are brands that have written about her or major press that she's gotten. That is pretty key. And so that does need to be higher up for sure. But I'm just going to throw this out there. Your homepage is like, look how long I'm scrolling. We're still going. Your homepage is way too long. And like I said before, you have 2 seconds to capture someone's attention. So hopefully within the 2 seconds, they're going to see a beautiful product photo of one of your products. That's going to key them in. They're going to scroll a little bit more. And then I believe that's when you hit them with like written about by, boom, these brands. Oh, BuzzFeed, that's a brand I know. Testimonials. You need to establish that credibility first. That interests people enough to then scroll a little more. But the fact that you have all these different things, like get the app, watch me on YouTube, here are some blog entries. Then we're going to go into my thoughts page for share. There's so much stuff. It's just confusing. And so I think that also adds the confusion when people go to your website. It's just like, wait, okay, so she has an app, she has a podcast, she has a blog, she's also on YouTube, she wants me to buy products. I can also hire her to do coaching. I think that sometimes, keeping it simple is the best thing. And that's why your navigation is so important, right? Your homepage is like a newspaper. And, I went to journalism school, and in the newspaper business, you talk about above the fold, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone sees only what's above the fold. They see the headlines, they see the main photo, and then you open it up to see the stuff on the bottom. Translating that same kind of like those methods to web is a little different. The bottom of the front page of the newspaper is the navigation, right? What's above the fold has to be like a really great photo and headlines that pull people in, and then they use the navigation to get where they want to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think when I did this, I was like putting myself back into look at all these things. And it's a bit of, I definitely see some things that need to come off the homepage.
Being totally honest, like I go to that and I get anxious. And ironically, the work that you do is like, is about bringing people joy, not anxiety. There's so many words. Also, I'm going to throw this out there. People, their attention spans are so terrible. And now with social media, we've like created even worse attention spans. So when you have large blocks of writing, people just zone out. So I think a really great homepage for you is like a beauty shot of products. So, and that, you know, so that people understand you have a store. It's like, great, she sells products. I can see that I can click on shop, but I don't need to be fed like all the top products, like, you know, right away. They can scroll, they can see that you do, like right now you use really big blocks edge to edge and you have a lot of information, but like you could potentially just have on the homepage like 6 buttons below your beauty image. And those buttons are like more about me, my blog, my podcast, get advice. You know, it doesn't need to be this giant block with a description. It just needs to be beautiful buttons that you've designed. So it's still visually pleasing, but it's not like I have to scroll forever to see everything. And by then I'm intimidated.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now because like, I have these blocks and I have a big heading and a picture and then the description, like who cares? Nobody's going to read that description, Trisha.
So many people can't even do the graphic design to have like it. You have the GIF already there with the phone, the app in it. Like it looks beautiful. So that's all it needs to be. Get the app. You've got the image done.
Yeah.
So I think those things already, just helping you analyze the site and the navigation, are going to help you a lot. Now let's get back to your main question, which was the products. Because that I want to help you grow that business. And now more than ever, it's so important for people to have like this passive income stream and direct to consumer. And so I think, you know, blowing out your online store is the best way to do that. So tell me about your products. What would you say about them?
I say a slightly sassy affirmation-based products. I have a variety of phrases and some that feature like cuss words and different things to get you out of your mind into your heart. They're mostly home and gift products.
And how do you make the decision of what to make or what to create?
Yeah, so that has changed. And right now, you know, I used to only want to make things that I could also wholesale. So of course that made it be a certain type of pricing. And I, in the last year, finally was like, started offering some more products that were easier to make. Like right now, my best sellers are these insulated mugs and tumblers that I'm drinking out of. And a local laser engraver engraves them. They're very costly for me to buy, so I can't wholesale them. But those have been doing great turnaround where like, you know, and again, I can buy like a smaller number. I don't have to buy thousands at a time. So, but I have like journals that I love and that sold out and in wholesale, but to order more journals, I need to at least spend $10,000 to get, you know, the right number of quantity and stuff. There's a lot more products and like paper goods. I would love to make more decks. So the first item I made with the Kickstarter is this 52 card deck. I thought I would make several, you know, I had maybe 3 decks out by now of different types. Again, that's something I need a high amount of money in. So right now, like my laser engraved stuff that I can make locally is what I've been doing because it's the easiest way to spend money and get it back quickly and not be like, just spend 10 grand. When's that's going to come back to me?
Right. Okay. So there's a lot there.
Yeah.
So let me tackle the first thing, which is like, and this is funny because the reason why I'm asking this is because of the line of work that you are in. Like, when you think about creating products, what would actually bring you the most joy? Like, what do you truly love making? Don't think about the money that it takes or, you know, just think about like what you actually enjoy.
Well, I enjoy making products that I myself like want to have and want to use myself, where it's like, you know, like I know some people tell you not to make yourself the ideal customer. No, but a lot of times that works for me.
Yes. You know you best. Would those be like the decks of cards and the journal, like the things that you mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, I I'm so glad I did say yes to making the insulated tumblers, even though I was like, oh, I can't wholesale these and they seem like they're pricey. Because I now use them every day. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to make more decks. I really have been thinking of this where it's sort of a journal, but it's also sort of a planner, but
Yeah.
not. So sort of like, a daily, like it wouldn't be dated, but just even like a format I use for myself where it's like the top 3 I am. So write in your information's top 3 tasks for the day. I am grateful for these things. At the end of the day, I acknowledge myself for this. Like I've been working with the template of that and I want to have that inside of a journal where it says the same thing every day.
I love that. Okay. So
that's what I really fucking, excuse me, can I make
I
want to make. That's what this year I so like really want to make that happen this year. And I am going to, but it's like, the paper products, and because I can reorder some other journals. I have a good local printer, but it's a big investment. And I don't know, that might be something that everybody loves. That could be something that just Trisha Huffman loves. And she has about hundreds of them in her garage.
Okay. No. So I'm gonna give you some advice here, which is that like you have to believe in yourself and in what you're making. Otherwise, what's the point, right? And it's scary as a small business owner. All small business owners listening right now are in the same thing where they're like, but I have to give the money up front to then hopefully make it back later, right? It's a scary thing. But, some people's version of scary, me and potentially you, is going to a 9-to-5 job where you hate your life, right? Like
Sure.
we all have different fears. So the thing is, you've already taken the step of working for yourself, creating a product line, having a website, now doing your first book. Like you've already done all of these things that the average person can't do because their fear already prevents them from doing it. So the money thing is, to me, not a hurdle at all, but it's the thing that most people struggle with, right? To me, it's like, are you not willing to invest $10,000 in yourself? Because that's kind of what that says. It's like, I'm scared that no one's going to buy my product, which really comes down to, I'm scared no one's going to feel like good about what I'm putting out into the world. But they are. You already have proven sales, which is interesting. And you sold out. Let me also just remind you, you sold out of the deck and you sold out of the journals, right?
Yeah, I've put several reorders in for the deck, but I have decks in stock. But yeah, I've put in several orders beyond that first Kickstarter. But they take a little bit, longer than I would like. And yeah, and that's the thing too. There's certain styles. So that's, I think the fear is that when I first launched these wire-bound journals that I love, 2 sayings sold really well. 2 sayings sold slow. So I'm sold out of the other 2, and wholesalers and customers ask me when they're coming back. And then I still have 2 sitting on my shelf. So that I think is the fear. Whereas like another, like on my keychains, I have the phrase "so fucking grateful." I think that would be great for a journal. But then again, I'm like, but what if this ends up being one of the ones that doesn't sell?
Right.
So it's sort of that thing where it's like the experience of, I thought these other ones were so awesome and they didn't sell, but these 2 did. So it is. But like the one that I'm imagining where it's this like more daily layout, I think I feel like, and exactly, if I really get to the place where I have it dialed in and I'm so excited about, this is an awesome layout for your day, you need this, people, I love it, then it is. And I'm putting that money in and I'm going to believe in it so much that my energy behind it to promote it will be like it was with that Kickstarter. Because geez, running a Kickstarter.
Yeah, no, I'm always like do it.
But it's like, it's like you're constantly like, you got to believe in what you're doing, because for 30 days you are like begging people to believe in your product.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to say. And this actually ties into your literary agent, oddly enough. So your current product line is great. It's just that, there's a lot of other people doing exactly this. And it's not to say that there's not something unique about your products, because that's the whole thing. Every single one of us has like a unique perspective to bring. You're not the only one engraving or screen printing on cups and glasses. And so currently those are doing well for you. So you should keep doing those. But when I look at your product lineup, to me, the thing that's going to separate you from all the other people doing like gift items and stationery is that you are a thought leader. That's how you need to think of yourself. Instead of being another product line that sells gifts and stationery, it's that you are your Joyologist. You have a journal, one journal. This, like, the planner journal idea sounds so good to me. It's not dated, so it's evergreen. You can use it whenever you want. You can give it, you can buy it and then give it to people during the holidays. Like, my mom is one of those women. She like buys gifts in like February, March. When she sees stuff, she puts them away, and then like come November, she's like, I've got the perfect gift. So to me, having more decks and having like a journal that represents you and your work, that is what you should be selling. And at the beginning, it's going to be hard because at the beginning, you're going to be used to just having the ease of like getting these cups that have been engraved and just like shipping and packing, shipping out, done, made a few dollars. But what's going to get you press in the media, what's going to help get you that book deal is having products that are absolutely only unique to you. And that to me is the deck and the journal. And maybe you know, it's hard to invest. So I see the hesitance of being like, I don't want to create 4 covers because one of them might sell really well and then I'm stuck with this stock. But my advice there is maybe do an Instagram poll, right? Start polling your audience. And I know someone really, really well. He has a brand called Johnny Cupcakes. And, you know, he just does like these graphics. Then he puts them on t-shirts and hats. And, you know, he's really smart because what he does sometimes is he doesn't make the product. He sends out a newsletter, blasts his whole audience and following and says, you know, this is the drop that's coming, like get on the list, or, you know, I'm going to be doing a new X, Y, and Z. Tell me which one you would purchase. And so people are telling him, and then he can already know based on my audience, I know I should go with cover A, not cover B, because already that's the one that they voted for. Or you go with pre-sale, which is another great way to do it. So, and he talked to me a lot about that. He relies on pre-sale too. So you're taking the orders ahead of time to fulfill, but you're getting money already. So it's not your investment, if that makes it a little safer.
Yeah. I've done both of those before, and especially even with insulated mugs, because that was easy, like, and that it's someone local that I do. I'll put in a pre-order or a pre-sale, and it's like, oh, only a couple people wanted this, so I'll just order that many or whatever, because that's easy. And the polls I've done too, and sometimes, you know, you never know. People will vote on the polls, and then you go to sell something, and it's like, where are all those people that wanted that?
Yeah.
But I think it's still good and useful for even like getting the temperature of, you know, of getting it. So even if those people don't buy, you're at least like, does this get people excited or not? Like, so, and then that can get you more into, and definitely what you're talking about of the decks and that daily journals thing, like that's even in the last year or so, I have moments of, will I continue doing products because of the spending money to make them? And I've felt like, I don't think I could ever let go of my deck, you know, that I would still go into reprint. And I would think, like, if I were to keep making products, and I think that I'm going to have to just make the products I really, really want to make. And so then I only maybe have a handful, like maybe I have 5 products, but it was something that I poured my whole self into. Like, so it's these decks and this, like, you know, daily journal or workbook maybe to come or something like that. Cause that's also things I was thinking of. Once I get a book deal, maybe I can work with them on the publisher, you know, which I don't know if I'll continue to self-create items or that possibility of that. But those were sort of things that, like, when I think, will I continue to make products? It's funny that the riskier items are the ones that I feel like, well, those I would make.
Right. I mean,
because they're more personal to me.
yeah. And I mean, I think that would come through too. Like as a customer, I think that if I go to your website and I see something that matches what you're doing more, as opposed to, you know, not to downgrade all of the products, but it's like, you know, it's like quotes on items that haven't been made by you truly. Not that you're like making the journals either, but there is energy and thought that went into journals and the deck. And like, and I
All the
know,
products are my own phrases, though. I mean, let that shit
yes,
go is a kind of common one, but it's not like I'm just taking inspirational quotes and putting them
no,
on.
of course not. But there's 5 million people out there doing the exact same thing. But are there 5 million people out there who have the aptitude and the knowledge and the expertise to create a deck? Don't think so. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the thing that makes you unique. It's crazy to me that this hasn't, like, it's crazy to me that the literary agent didn't say, like, you should be focusing on those things because they make you a thought leader. And the thought leader thing is what's going to get you the book deal, right? Like, I know someone who is a doctor. It's Dr. Deepika Chopra. She lives in Los Angeles. Are you familiar with her work?
Yeah, I know Deepika.
And so, you know, her deck, she created that deck a year ago, but it's gotten so much renewed press attention in the last 2 months. And it's gotten her on a number of major network morning shows within the last month. That's pretty much the only product that she has, right? So if that's an example for you, it's like you may only have, like, you may have a line of housewares, right? And that may be cups and the keychains and some cards, but then it's like really your main product that you're pushing and that you become known for should be the stuff that really, really is truly, truly all about you. That's going to separate you from everyone else who's doing products. I mean, you know, because we're unique markets, we see thousands and thousands of product lines every year. And, you know, at the end of the day, anyone can put a quote on a cup and sell it, but you're the only one that can create a deck that like truly transforms people and helps them, you know, every day discover a new thing and take the time to spend 2 minutes quiet or concentrating on a meditation. Like, literally only a handful of people translate that into products. And that's what you should be doing. That's the power that you have.
Thank you.
I know it's hard because it's like, but the cups are bringing me in money right now.
But I also like, that's again, like, though, I made them because I like it. Like, I made the keychains because I wanted to, you know, so it's like, again, like the products I'm making are still things that I wanted to make. But yeah, I think moving forward, that's going to be helpful when I am in these crossroads of what do I want to be putting my time and attention on? Oh, I could think of a new mug sayings, or I could finally make the freaking daily journal thing that I know I want to make. So like that sort of thing.
Describing that journal with like, that's active. It makes the consumer active, right? Yeah. They're answering those 3 things every day, or at the end of every day, writing an affirmation. Like, that is really interesting. Like, when you were talking about it, like all these things were going off in my head being like, oh my God, this is the product. This is the one. So I think I'm going to follow my gut here and say that, like, so many other women, for sure, including Lauren, who works for me, like, she would be the first person to buy that journal. Like, she'd be online. Like, so there's a lot of people that would want to buy that. And hopefully you know that. So I hope that you do that. I hope that we hear back from you in 3 months and you're going to say, so I haven't finished it, but I started, you know, or I've finished it and now I'm starting the new deck. Like, these are really interesting products to me.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel confident I can release that, the daily like check-in journal. That's the thing too. I have to think of what it's called and what the title would be, because all my other things are like, it's just the phrase on the front. So that feels harder for me, but also like, then that's just, I need to take more time to be more intentional with it. And but I
was going to say, you can also, you know, you've already polled your audiences, but you can also do like a focus group of trusted close friends. I do that a lot. Like, when I'm coming up, especially when I'm coming up with names, that's the hardest thing, right? Because you're like, I think this one's really good. Oh, wait a minute, this one's also good. And then you show them to all of your friends and they're like, that one sucks. And you're like, oh. And it, it's like they all say that it sucked. And you're like, oh, shoot. Okay. So I feel like you could, start an email chain with people that you respect their opinions and who might even be in this world, and ask them like, okay, these are the 3 titles that I'm thinking, like, which one do you like?
Yeah, I was also thinking all the people that have been in my group coaching plan, because those are like people that have like known, my work and are probably eager for stuff, and like which would they resonate. So like 2 different groups of people, like people that are more peers and then the people that are like ready for more. But yeah, I feel confident by the end of 2020 these will be for sale on my store.
You said it, so now it's out there.
I'm not confident, to be honest, that I'm going to switch my whole store to Shopify though.
Oh my God. This is the number, I swear to you, this is the number one thing that will help. I'm telling you, like, the only impression, you only have 2 seconds for that impression, and that's it. So you're going to increase your sales if you look at the 2 and figure out how to amalgamate them.
Yeah, no. So what I'm saying is I'm not 100% on board with jumping fully to Shopify, but I'm 1000% taking your feedback, and I'm going to be going in and cleaning up my homepage and working to make those sites more singular. I'm just not sure when and if I will jump fully to Shopify, because there are a lot of benefits to WordPress, and but I'm 1000% taking all of your advice on the homepage and making them be more similar. I'm just not sure about moving everything to Shopify.
Okay, I'm going to give you this last piece of it, which is write down a list of the benefits of being on WordPress and the potential benefits. Like, if the benefits are technology backed, it's stuff in the back end.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you Shopify is like one of the largest companies in the world at this point. They've since COVID-19 have like upshot.
I have 10 years of blogs and stuff there, and they do have a blog feeder and stuff like that. It does then get even trickier with the Google words and all that stuff of like, because I moved it there for for a year or so and then moved it back. So again, I'm not totally saying I never will, and I'm totally on board with making them more. It's just, there is some stuff there.
Right. I'm also going to then say this, now that I've heard your answer, which was like, but there's 10 years worth of blogs. I'm going to throw out there that like probably no one but you feels the same way about the 10 years of blogs.
That's
and
true.
It is an emotional thing. I know, look, our business, Unique Markets, has been named everything from Unique Los Angeles to Unique LA to Unique USA, and then Unique Markets. So in 12 years, we've rebranded 4 times. What a nightmare. So I went through the SEO thing. I went through the Google thing. I've gone through it all, but it's surprising how quickly that stuff picks back up. And like all of those blog posts that we did, like, who cares? No one's society is not like, people don't go back. People don't even look like, if you look at Instagram, people don't even look like 24 photos down. Right?
No,
they get
totally.
to your profile and they literally look at those first 12 and they're like, I'm following or I'm not. Like, we've created this society. You should know how human nature works. So, can you save? Like, we did save things that were on our old website. We screenshotted, we actually archived the entire website. I did that because I was like, well, what if we want the about history copy, which, I love this one section,
Right.
How we wrote the history. Have I ever gone back in the folders and looked at that stuff? No.
Yeah.
So it's an emotional decision, and I know you know that.
I do, but honestly, you're giving different, like, I think I've heard so many business like people that tell you that's why you do have to keep it. So I don't even know if I care about like that. I think that I've been getting advice for years that you have to, and like WordPress, you have to be, and Shopify is like, people think that Shopify is bad unless you're just products and stuff. So I don't know. I'm willing to look into it, but yeah, a lot of people tell you the opposite.
Right. Like I would just write a list for yourself. Like, take the 1 hour to write pros of having 2 different websites and cons, and then write the pros of having 1 website. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are out of time, but I'm super excited that I talked, and I really want to be able to get an email from you that says, here's the journal. It's available for sale.
Give me some time, but I did say end of 2020. So.
I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen, and I'm excited for it to happen.
I will send you one.
Yay. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, wait, before you go, calling all small business owners, nonprofit pioneers, and savvy side hustlers. If you're looking for the smarter way to market your idea, small business, or cause online, Constant Contact has your back. Whether you're just getting started and need a simple logo maker or easy way to build your website or online store, or if you're ready to step up your online marketing game with customizable email campaigns, social media, and search marketing tools, Constant Contact has everything you need to achieve online marketing success, all in one place. Paired with practical advice from their award-winning team of marketing experts at every step of the way, Constant Contact helps you achieve real results fast. For an exclusive deal, visit constantcontact.com/unique to get started today.